Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another movie chat. I'm Joe Mayo, and I'm here with Tim Allen today. 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:03. Just a little later than usual.
Yeah, my
But
fault. Me.
no, I made it 6 o'clock instead of 5:30.
Yeah, but my fault
Yeah.
for the extra 3 minutes.
No, 3 minutes. We could live by that. We could live with that, I should say. Oh, we missed. I wasn't feeling so great last Thursday, and then the Thursday before was Thanksgiving. I missed a couple of weeks. You would think that maybe I watched a lot of movies in that time, but I have not. Although I watched a lot of TV, which I'll get into a little bit. And we're hoping that you'll have things to talk about. Tell us if you've watched anything, if you're looking forward to seeing anything. If you picked up any movies, if you're a physical media buyer, and we got James Farley to start out with.
James,
thank goodness for James Farley. He's always right there. Matt Stickman, what's going on? Two of my most loyal viewers, much appreciated anytime. And another one, Mike Waljasper. These are like the three main guys. Happy Xmas. Yeah. Hello, Harold and Robbie. Hello. So we're getting underway. I appreciate everybody for coming here and partaking in our little movie chat, such as it is. All righty. I'll start talking about some things because I'm sure Tim's got more interesting stuff than I'm going to talk about. Believe me when you see. So I'll just start. Hello, Eddie. Beetle Eddie. Okay. Well, this is cheating in a way. Well, the first couple of things I'm going to show you cheating, and I'll tell you what I mean. First, it's Christmas time, so on television, I've seen a classic again. I'm holding up my DVD copy, but I didn't watch my DVD. Oh boy, that's really unique, isn't it? It's a Wonderful Life. Well, the reason why I'm showing this and talking about it again is because it's interesting to me. It's a movie that used to play on TV all the time when I was growing up. It's on all the time. In fact, I think they have it on a rotation on some channels. And I had never seen it till later in my life. It was late in life. And by the time I saw it, I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting a very Christmassy movie, a lot of snow, a lot of just that whole vibe of Christmas lights, decorations. And of course, there's a lot of that later on, but not in the beginning. And that's no reason not to like a movie, just because it wasn't Christmassy enough. But I really was thrown for a loop and didn't love it the first time I saw it. But when I revisited it a second time, and I'm pretty sure the second time was I almost know the Christmas too, 2006. I really loved it, and now I really like it quite a bit. Yeah. And I relate too much at times with the stress to the scene when James Stewart's character is George Bailey. He's walking in, the kid's playing the piano, and he's like, "Stop playing that piano." And I relate too much to that because of stress in life. Not every minute, every day, but yeah. So I guess if anything had happened, I said to my girlfriend as we watch it, if anything should happen to me, if I would never existed, what difference would I have made to anybody? And I thought, well, a lot of people on YouTube might not have been thrilled. I gave people entertainment and stuff. That's the best I could do. But anyway, yeah, so I do like this movie, okay? I'm going to catch up here a little bit. We got Cherry Carter. Hello, Cherry. And it's good to see you, Clifford and Phil show. All right. Another thing is that this is something I've been thinking I really need to do a full show. Sometimes we say get a topic and maybe do a single topic, right? I'm guessing you've seen this movie. I don't know if we talked about it yet. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Of course, Henry brought this up so many times. If I say Henry, would you know what movie I'm thinking of? What's the
Well,
first
it's
thing?
one of two. It's one of two. You put it, or
What's your
maybe
guess?
three. Maybe three, actually. One of three.
What's your guess of
Well,
what three
it's
are
either
they?
going to be Jaws, Rocky, or 12 Angry Men.
All right. Well,
It's got to be 12 Angry Men.
yeah. Now this is a Criterion disc that I upgraded. I have not yet seen the disc. I love the movie. Watched the movie many times. The reason that I'm doing this is talking about this is, again, it's a cheat because I was watching reaction videos. I don't know if people like, if you're into that, Tim, or anybody out there, but I like watching reaction videos because one of the things I love is when there's a movie I enjoy and I want to see other people's reaction to the movie. So I didn't really watch it again. I've seen it a lot of times. I know it almost by heart. It's a great movie, I think. It's a perfect example of a flawless movie. But what I enjoyed watching was a lot of young people who maybe don't ordinarily watch old movies in black and white, Gen Zers, watching and reacting to on their YouTube channels, and they really, really think it's a fantastic movie. One young couple said this is maybe our favorite movie now. Period. So it shows you how powerful it is. But I said at the top that maybe this is a movie I want to do a video about or a dedicated conversation with some people who are familiar with it, because even though I love the movie, I have problems with it a little too, and it's a lot to go into right now. Not the movie as a piece of work. As a piece of work, to me, it's flawless. But the character, Juror 8, Henry Fonda, that guy's got his mind made up from the beginning. I've seen this movie enough. He wants to find a reason to find this kid not guilty. And to me, he's as bad. I don't want to ruin too much for people who haven't seen it. He's as bad on that side of things as is it J. Lee Cobb or Lee J. Cobb? I was going to mix up J. Lee Cobb. Yeah, Lee J. Cobb. He's as bad as being on the other side, wants him guilty, or and the reason I say that is, and I don't want to go into a big thing about it because we can't do it here. It's not the big discussion. But the thing is that he will not take no for an answer. He will not even. There's many opportunities in this thing for there to be a hung jury, and he never says, "All right, that's like." Well, do a hung jury. No, keep trying. But you sure that's not possible? It's not possible. What about this? Well, you sure? Think about it. We'll wait till you come up with an answer. So, hung jury. Even when Jack Warden's character, who all he gives a damn about is going to a stupid ball game, even when he goes from guilty to join the majority to switching it conveniently to not guilty, when everybody starts swaying that way, just to go to a ball game, he'll take it. Fonda will take it. I mean, there is a little bit of dialogue in there. One of the other characters, I don't remember the actor's name. The foreign man, he says, "Oh, that's terrible. You should change your vote because you believe it, not just because it's easier or whatever." They do address it, but juror number 8, Henry Fonda, good enough for him. He'll declare it. He'll declare it that kind of thing, and probably the guy's guilty. But of course, the idea, this is my opinion only, they don't tell you whether he's guilty or not. The kid probably he was, but yet that's not the point. The point is if you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So I get all that. Anyway, that's my tirade about that. And I got one more thing to talk about. Let me just put some comments up. I saw most of It's a Wonderful Life a couple of weeks ago. Okay, did you know that who's that? Questel was the original voice of Betty Boop on Olive Oil and was in Christmas Vacation? You got me there.
Well, I know Mae Questel was those two. Maybe Mae Questel was the grandmother that died they put on the roof after she died. I don't know. I never.
And last thing I'll talk about, and not too much, I don't think. Guess what?
Yep.
Columbo. I'm now up to, this is my Blu-ray set. Big improvement over my DVD set. But this is now I'm up to season 2. And I found what I consider so far to be my favorite episode. It goes by the name, and I had it down, A Stitch in Crime. And it has Leonard Nimoy in it as the bad guy, as the villain. And it so far is my favorite episode. Although I love, so far I say love them all. That's loose talk. I like them all to a degree. Some are better than others.
Yeah,
I am starting to find them kind of similar. I don't think you're supposed to watch them every night. Maybe it's better if you watch one a month.
On like once a month or once every 2 months. So that's
you might have been the one to bring that up, Tim. I think in the past. So it gets a little played out and similar. But yeah, it's a really good story, and I could follow it. I'm not saying it's the hardest thing to follow, but there are times when I watch something, even though we know who done it in these, and I'm like, well, how do you figure that out? How do you do that? And I sometimes there's too many characters introduced or names I got to remember. Who was that one who said that about her and him? Jeez, who's that again? That sometimes that gets to be a pain in the butt, and then I have to go read the page called Columbo File, who a guy who does every episode and reviews every episode, and then it straightens it out from it. It just makes it a little clearer, even though I'm not lost on most of them, but sometimes I'm like, let me just read the guy's review, and let me just see if I really am clear on the whole thing now. So I mean, I've seen a bunch of these now. I don't know if it's 14 or 15 of them, and there's nothing here that I'd say is a real dog in here. There was one when he goes to England that my girlfriend said that was her favorite one so far. She's watching these with me, and her attitude is, she likes Peter Falk, okay, but she's like, she finds him boring, these shows. Okay, what can I tell you? Sorry, it's not a Hallmark movie. But so that's where I'm at. Tim, did you see Beetlejuice?
No, I didn't even really like the first one, so why would I see that one?
Yeah, and I didn't see either. So
there's a movie thread going around, apparently the 24 movie questions or something, and one of the questions is, and I didn't even think about that till this now, but a movie that you don't like that everybody else loves, and Beetlejuice would be a good answer for me for that. Just don't. Man,
I wish I could come up with it. Well, I'm not gonna list poor old Vertigo again, because that's not fair. Just like I didn't love It's a Wonderful Life at first. It worked better under the right circumstances the second time. So I'm still gonna give that another try. I'm not gonna make that official at all to my feeling on that one. But I remember I didn't like The Searchers. I mean, so much.
I love The Searchers top 10 movie. So is It's a Wonderful Life, by the way. One of my top 10 favorites.
Well, okay, Tim. So fill us in, because I think you said you have a good amount of stuff.
I got a lot. But before, I got a question for you. Because you like 12 Angry Men so much, is the episode of The Odd Couple where Felix sits on the jury, which is 12 Angry Men, basically, is that one of your favorite Odd Couple episodes?
Yes.
Because they are doing 12 Angry Men.
Yeah. And that was one of my favorite episodes before I'd even seen 12 Angry Men. Anyway, yeah. That's great.
Okay. Well, I'll start out with this, since you ended with it. I've watched 3 of these, which is movies when they picked it up again in '89.
Oh, really? Wait, is that something new you just got?
No, I showed this when I showed the other one.
I wish I could discuss those with you, but I'm not going to get into those.
That's
for a while.
Okay. And you said you heard they weren't as good. I kind of like them better.
Oh,
He's
well, hey, that's good.
quirkier
That's fun.
and funnier. I just watched one today, and he was so funny. I mean, not a bad way, in a good way. You're just like this guy, man. he just, oh, he's almost better older, a little more wear on him. But yeah, I watched maybe my three favorites. I watched the first season and three of these, and maybe these are my three favorites so far, to be honest.
That is very reassuring. Let's put it that way.
But the interesting thing is they don't have like the star power that the originals had, and I think that's a good thing because you're not distracted by the famous person in it. You know what I mean? They're just actors, and they're more believable to you as who they're supposed to be because you don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is I really liking these. He was so funny in this third one today.
No, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I watched a little. You know what I did just to go on a tangent a little. I had the DVD box,
mm-hmm.
and the DVD box. I had so far only one disc that wouldn't play. I ran out and abandoned it and got the Blu-ray just because one disc had a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it also contains, I think it's 24 of the movies, the later movies. So I said, well, I really didn't inspect those because if those discs will play all right, I'd rather not get them over on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because I've heard that the aspect ratio on the Blu-rays is not the proper 1:3:3 square. They kind of make it rectangular. Whatever they do, 16:9. So I'd rather stick with the DVDs to get the aspect ratio anyway. But I did watch the first 15 minutes of the first one with Anthony Zerbe in it. That's so I don't have anything to go by. Is my point.
Yeah, but I and his first appearance in everyone is they're making the unique appearance. Like the very first one, you see his car first. The camera's stationary. His old beat up gray French car pulls in with his headlights blaring, and then the headlights go off, and then you see him getting out of the car. But you already know it's him because of the car. It's a great entrance.
It's the same car.
To get in somewhere, and you just see his arm come through an elevator door to hold the elevator, and the door opens, and there he is.
But is it the same car?
Yeah, it's the same car.
Wow. Yeah, that's because I saw one from the 70s where he's like his sticker's gone. He had a police sticker or something, and he goes, "What the hell? My sticker's gone. Somebody took my sticker off the windshield." And that which I thought was kind of fun. I love how a lot of episodes when people don't think he's the detective, like he think he's just some kind of a bum or something.
Oh yeah, no, there's a couple of those in this one. And he's got a restroom, a ladies' restroom closed in the one I saw today, and because he's searching it, and it's at this big musical place, and it's about to be intermission, and he puts the lady in charge to guard the door while he's in there. And when he comes out, there's a line of about 50 women waiting, all cussing him out and everything, and he's running by and going, sorry.
Yeah. He's the best. He's funny, and I just got the first episode with an egg. The first one I got where he eats an egg, and it's a hard-boiled egg, and somebody produces the murder weapon or something. I think it's a crowbar or something, and I think it's in the one I like with Leonard Nimoy, and somebody's like holding it. And he goes, "Will you just hold that just for a minute, please?" And then he cracks his egg on the crowbar, the murder weapon. So anyway,
yeah. I'll start with what I watched, and then I'll go into other things. And some of these are new too. I found this for $1, and I watched it, and I don't really know what to make of it.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I know. I can talk about that very briefly. That's the first movie that in what became the Ma and Pa Kettle series.
I knew it was a Ma and Pa Kettle. I didn't know if it was the first or the last.
The first.
Okay. Yeah, and it became Ma and Pa Kettle, and it's if you like Ma and Pa Kettle,
I remember liking that. Okay, I have the whole
it's
set.
okay. It could have been, considering it's got Fred McMurray and Paul Colbert, I think it should have been better. But
I mean, 20 years. It's been at least 20 years since I've seen it.
And I picked this up for $1. I had no idea. This is on Media Asia. It's like, tell me if this is something you would think would be on Media Asia.
I don't know what Media Asia. What's that?
It's a company that puts out like martial arts and Hong Kong films.
Oh. No, that doesn't seem.
And you would think I bought this and I watched it, not thinking I love this movie. It's called Come to the Stable. And it's about these two nuns who is Loretta Lynn and Celeste Holm. And they're both really, really good in it. And Loretta Lynn is just like this nun who doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, we've kind of seen it before, but it's just done. She's so convincing, and Celeste Holm plays this French nun who barely speaks English and gets by on her smile. It's a charming little movie. It's not a Christmas movie, but it is great for this time of the year. I can't believe how much I like this movie. This does not look like a movie that a guy would like. And
what's the year on that? 40s?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, and it's Media Asia, so it's not going to tell me.
Well, you could always watch Bells of St. Mary's with it or something like that.
yeah, but this is better than that. It really, I was surprised how much I liked this movie. I was shocked by it. So anyway, yeah, Come to the Stable, really good. They want to get a hospital built, and they get it built with $0, with nothing, and it's pretty amazing. I watched this with a commentary, so I watched it twice. Tom Courtenay, Billy Liar. This is a Kino movie, which is why I picked it up. It's a British film, 1963, and it's in the vein of A Hard Day's Night and Help, and The Knack and How to Get It and How He Won the War, and these really avant-garde new wave British cinema. Basically, it's about this guy who lives in a fantasy world and just lies constantly.
I knew somebody like that.
Doesn't care if he gets caught, doesn't. And I didn't love it, but I liked it, and I think I might like it more if I saw it again. And it's also got in a fairly early role, I think. Why can't I think of her name? It's Julie Christie is in it, and she looks way ahead of her time as far as everybody else in this movie goes. She looks so modern compared to everybody else, but just really good movie.
Studied the book Billy Liar at school. The book.
Yeah, it was based on a book. Yeah, I've never read it. And of course, I had to watch a movie from everybody's favorite genre, Criterion.
Yeah,
Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I didn't really know what to make of this.
Isn't that a cult kind of film?
Yeah, it's interesting. It starts out, you think Adam West is the star. He's the first person you see in the movie, and he dies pretty quickly. Sorry, the spoiler. But so it's got this other guy in it, and it's good. This had a commentary too. I watched the commentary. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. I can see why it's on Criterion. But yeah, this is mid 60s, early 60s actually, pre-Batman. And I watched one of the strangest films I've ever seen, Two Lost Worlds. This is a cowboy movie with dinosaurs.
Well, actually, there is another one. There's a couple of them. One of them is Valley of Gwangi. Did you ever hear of the Valley of Gwangi?
Yep.
And there's another one. Wow, I know the name of it too. The Beast of Hollow Mountain. I think that's
Okay.
another one with dinosaurs and cowboys.
These people wind up going back in time somehow to like prehistoric times, and it's just strange, alligators with fins strapped on their back, that sort of thing. Uh, it's not this isn't a great movie, but it's good for a chuckle. And it's a cowboy movie for like an hour, and then all of a sudden it's a dinosaur movie. It's a cowboy melodrama for about an hour. And all of a sudden
Yeah, there were a couple that I've seen. Not that one, but
very, very strange. And well, let me talk about before I show the last one. I also watched 2 film noirs. I watched Murder by Contract, which is a very interesting film. And I'm forgetting the actor's name now. The guy that played Dr. Kildare on television. Yeah, I'm forgetting.
Look it up for us, folks.
I had it before the problems that we talked about earlier.
Because I know the actor. When you tell me, I think I'm
it. Yeah, but it's very interesting because it turns out most of his roles, he was a really, really bad guy in the movies, and then suddenly he became Dr. Kildare, and it would never happen today. He was typecast as a baddie, and you would never get a prominent role as a doctor today if you typecast as a baddie, but he did. But anyway, it's interesting because it's filmed in 1958, which is, if you know anything about noir, that's the last year where they call it a noir, and then 59 and onwards they call it neo-noir. So it looks more like a 60s film than a film noir.
Was it Richard Chamberlain? I'm not thinking Richard Chamberlain.
No, not Richard Chamberlain.
Probably a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, this is
not Lou Ayres.
No. It'll come to me, maybe. But he's a contract killer, right? And he's really good at it. He's really cocky and everything. But he gets his hit, and it turns out to be a woman, and it's his downfall. And he won't kill a woman, and it was really good. Anyway, and I watched a movie called Sudden Fear, which is another film noir. This one had no, I'm not.
That's what is it? What's the name of it? I missed it.
Sudden Fear. Oh, Joan Crawford.
I'm sorry to cut into. Hold on a minute before you tell me about that. Yeah, Richard Chamberlain is in the, but that's like the 1961. But I think in the movies, the early movies, what's the first year? I'm trying to original Dr. Kildare.
I think he's Dr. Kildare. I'm not even positive, but he
look at this. I was right. One of them. I don't know where this stuff's back there. There must have been a lot because we got Lou Ayres, who I mentioned, is one of them.
See, I keep wanting to say James Arness, but that's not it. But he was a youngish guy, a handsome youngish guy, but he got cast as a bad guy in noirs, and that was how he was stuck for a long time. I don't know. Look up Murder by Contract, and you'll find out who he is. I can't think of his name. But anyway, so I watched Sudden Fear with Joan Crawford, and that was mostly a melodrama till the very end, and then it was that was really good too. I liked both of those way better than I thought I would. Both highly recommended movies. You can watch them both on YouTube. And
listen, Letty, I'll try it one more time. Okay, I'm Googling too. Dr. Kildare was a character in movies from the 30s and the 40s.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm talking about the TV show in the early 60s.
Yeah, and the one you're saying, Dr. Kildare Chamberlain. Yeah, that's true. At one
Okay,
point,
then it's not Dr. Kildare. It's another medical show.
after all that,
Like I said, look up Murder by Contract, and you'll
I
find
am. Vince, I don't know, Vince Edwards.
Vince Edwards. Vince Edwards. What did he do on television? Anyway,
I don't know.
That's who Doc. Hey, I'm pretty sure he's in a medical show of some kind. I've never
Dr.
seen
Kildare.
Dr.
I guess it's one of those characters like a lot of people played him, whether it's not like Doctor Who or something.
Yeah. But anyway, Vince Edwards, and he was really good because he had to be both cocky and compassionate at the same time when it came to killing a woman, and he did a very good job. Anyway, so then I watched Sudden Fear, and that was good. That was about a woman who was madly in love with her husband, who was trying to kill her constantly, and it became
wow, that's a real man. Women go for those bad boy types.
Yeah, it became very interesting. And then I watched this, which I'd seen before, but it's been a long time, and I'd forgotten most of it. 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. I can't say I'm familiar with it. I mean, that's William Castle, I know.
Yeah.
But it's never. I'm not really big on ghost movies, but
And
that's why I always pass up.
I liked it more than I thought I would. But the main reason I bought it, these were all buck, by the way. The main reason I bought this and then I watched it was because inside the case, you got the glasses that you need to watch it. So it's presented in two forms, in black and white, so you can see the ghosts and everything's normal, or how it was shown in theaters. And the top one is if you want to see the ghosts, and the bottom one is if you don't believe. And if you don't believe, you put the blue on and you don't see the ghosts. And if you do believe, you put the red on and you do see the ghosts. And this is how it was in the theater. And I thought it was interesting that it came with that, and that how it worked actually fairly well. So yeah, I watched 13 Ghosts, and I kind of liked it. You know, I didn't love it, but it's cool, especially with the glasses. I'm glad I had the glasses.
By the way, who plays Ben Casey? Do you know?
Maybe it's Ben Casey. Maybe that's Vince Edwards. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's Vince Edwards plays Ben Casey. I've never seen any of those like medical shows from the late 50s and early 60s.
Hello, Ali.
I don't know. Okay, now I've got a stack of things I bought. If you want to see those, or we can talk a while, and then okay. Well,
absolutely.
My thrift store changed their pricing again, and now if it's a box set, doesn't matter what DVD or Blu-ray, it's $2, and it's $1 if it's just a movie. That's it. Blu-ray, DVD, they don't care. So wow. I want a little Disney nuts today for $1. I bought Finding Nemo.
I like give me old Disney.
Okay, Dumbo.
That's better. Now that's a tearjerker.
This just because I'm curious, and it was $1.
Hey, if you're curious about Christopher Robin, why not see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
No, thanks. And Bambi.
Oh, there you go. Now you're talking. Those are the ones I'd watch.
Toy Story.
Never seen it.
And here's the thing, and I didn't even look. I was kicking myself on my way home. They had Toy Story 2 on 4K for $1, but I didn't open it up to see if there was a DVD in there too. And because if there was, most of these have DVDs as well. So if there was, I should have bought it because I don't do 4K. But for 4K and DVD for $1, I should have, but I didn't. So then I picked this up. The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea. Chris Christopherson. Have no idea, but it looks interesting. Right up my alley. An obscure older movie. Early 70s, I'm guessing. This I picked up just because I like film noir, so I wanted to see what this was all about Marlowe with Liam Neeson.
Jessica Lange?
Yeah.
Hmm.
No idea.
Hmm.
Golden Girl. No idea. I picked it up because it's a Warner archive.
For a minute, I thought it was Susan Anton, Golden Girl.
No, this is an 18, probably some sort of biopic on a late 18th century music hall woman, famous music hall woman. Not anything up my alley, but I bought it anyway. For $1, I haven't seen it. Wanted to see it. Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't seen it.
You can't go wrong for $1.
People loved it. I'll Cry Tomorrow with Susan Hayward. Again, I don't know it. Probably a melodrama, but it kind of looks noirish in a way. So I don't know. All Mine to Give, no idea. I'll buy any old movie for $1, and I will watch it eventually because I just
sometimes I'll go for the either the director or the star.
Yeah, I'll for $1, you know. The World in His Arms with Gregory Peck, no idea again, but it's Gregory Peck and Ann Blythe, so bought it. I might even own this already. I couldn't remember, so for $1, I bought it. The Hasty Heart with Ronald Reagan. I don't know. I may even own it.
I don't love Patricia Neal, but she's all right when she was younger.
Yeah. San Francisco's with Spencer Tracy, and it looks like maybe Clark Gable. I don't know. It looks like Clark Gable on the cover, but it's supposed
to. It's hard to resist those kinds of posters. You know that. For
yeah. You know, and again, it's $1. You know,
like that whole vintage of that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. Tomorrow is Forever. Again, Claudette Colbert, Orson Welles. I've never heard of this movie. I thought I knew everything Orson Welles ever
I've
did.
heard that title before, but no, I think it sounds to me like the title of a Star Trek episode or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but almost done. A couple more. Gregory Peck, Purple Plane. Again, no idea. It's Gregory Peck. A lot of obscure movies, which I like. And I couldn't. This was $1 too. The Walking Tall trilogy for $1.
No. For $1.
Yep.
Wow.
3
movies.
Only charged me $1. So that's what I got this week.
I like the vintage. I like that you come up with movies like that. Even if I don't see them, at least the vintage that I like.
Yeah, you know, well, that's what I like. I like old, you know.
Have you seen Phantom Lady?
God, it sounds familiar, but I can't say off the top of my head.
I picked up Bloodsucking Freaks on Blu-ray for £1 today. I mean, so many of those trashy movies have those kinds of titles that I might have seen that. Finding Nemo
too, but I can't.
Is a classic.
I mean,
Toy Story 2 4K version is censored.
Oh wow. Okay, well, I didn't get it anyway, so I wouldn't have wanted it for the DVD anyway if it had the DVD in it. But if it didn't, I wouldn't have bought it anyway because I'm not doing 4K. I don't have a 4K player.
It says movies should find you, not the other way around. I don't know about that. How does that work? I mean,
I think when you go to a thrift store and you see things that are interesting for $1, it's finding you. You're not finding it. You know what I mean? You look up and there's something you never heard of, and it's $1. To me, that's it found me. You know, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's right up my alley.
That was God. I'll Cry Tomorrow tells the story of alcoholism, I think.
Okay. But you never know. That movie, that Come to the Stable proved to me that, a movie that you look at and you go, there's no way I'm going to like this, can be freaking amazing. So, you don't know.
The Marlowe Tim got is 2022.
Yeah, I knew it was fairly recent. I watch a recent movie once in a while.
That brings us up to caught up. I don't know, a news item that I heard, it doesn't really bother me, is the company LG has stopped making Blu-ray players. Yeah, it's a big deal to me. Only not that company, but if they stop making them, I'd be pissed in general. But I don't think there's always going to be some way to play them, you know.
Yeah,
And I stocked up on like brand new Sony players when they were like $70 or something. So I bought like 3 of them. So I got like 3 brand new ones for the rest of my life in the closet.
I mean, think about it. There's people using turntables from the late 60s and 70s right now that love them. So,
well, that's the thing.
About that for the same thing with a Blu-ray player or whatever. You know,
you can really do anything. You can have a jukebox and they can be repaired and have parts. Yep. You can have a 8-track player, cassette player, even a 16 millimeter projector with films and bulbs and the lamps to replace them. So you can get things. You can still do things. Hopefully that'll be the deal with laser, the DVDs, Blu-rays. Hey, how much more do we need? I'm gonna go there again. How much more time do we need to work? And I mean, it's the reality. Wow. 32 millimeter, 35 millimeter print collector say a good 4K is as good as a. Do you mean 35 millimeter? Maybe.
I think.
Or is there a 32?
No, I think you mean.
Look, my feeling is I think these things are in some way better than 35 millimeter, which it should never be. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I just heard somewhere else talk about 4K, and I forget what they were referring to. Oh, it might have been I Love Lucy, and they were saying like you could see like the makeup, you could see where the makeup ends on the faces and stuff on the necks. I don't want to see that. You're not supposed to see that.
Exactly. I mean, this isn't even 4K, but I have the 2 Thunderbirds movies on Blu-ray. And what you see a lot is an ocean of strings, which you never saw on DVD. You never saw on television. You shouldn't see the strings.
Well, that's true. That's true. In some
there
cases,
they are, and it's like, there's such a thing as too good.
Even though it's sacrilege for me to alter things, I sometimes think I wouldn't mind certain situations where they take the wires out, digitally remove wires. They did that on Lost in Space, on one of the early episodes with Gravity, when the gravity is taken off the ship and the kids are floating in the air. They have both. They have the original version included for purists, and then they have the digitally altered version, and I much prefer the digitally altered version. I got to admit, with no wires.
I don't like that kind of stuff either, but I will say that I like I prefer the digitally enhanced Star Treks over the originals.
Yeah, and I even saw. What did I see? Once in a while I see it because I still have never seen every Star Trek episode. Okay, the original series, but I saw the one with "And the Children Shall Lead" with the children that do this or whatever they do, and they take over the ship and everything. That was another episode I saw. But I was going to say, I might have brought this up in the past, but as much of a purist as I am, I always talk about one of my favorite films, The Omega Man. And it's supposed to be a city where everybody's dead. And, Charlton Heston is driving his car through the city and everybody's supposed to be dead, and no life. And they had to do the film on Sunday mornings at like 6 o'clock in the morning, or the sun just came up when nobody was working, or the holidays and everything. And still some very astute fans can point out slight figures walking on the street, very hard to see. And occasionally, with all the buildings of the city, I guess it's California, Los Angeles, you can see a car like between the buildings, way in the distance, zip by between the buildings, and the traffic lights. Sometimes they're red,
Mhm.
green, and green. I wouldn't mind them going in and deadening the lights, taking those cars in the background out, taking a few spotty people off the street. A lot of the shots that you see them are from overhead, like looking down, like ants. You know, you don't really see them unless you're really looking for them. But I've seen it so many times I can spot it, and stuff like that. I don't mind them taking out, honestly, especially a movie like that where he's supposed to be no life or power or anything. You have to preserve the stage aspect of these productions. There is a degree of poetic license that you have to allow with them. I've heard of this episode for sure. You know, I mean, I know the titles, all of them, pretty much, but I don't know which is which. I mean, in some cases, I know what they are. Charlie X. I know that's one of my favorite ones. Some of them I know the name, what they are. Some of them I just know the titles, because when I was in high school, we had a fan magazine we tried to put out. It was a typewriter affair. You put it in the typewriter. Anybody remember those? And you type. And I was good at typing, so I would do a lot of the print. And one of them was just simply an episode guide. You know, we were 14 at the time, 15, and I did Lost in Space. I knew Lost in Space, and the one guy did Space 1999, another one did Star Trek. But the point was, I had to like copy from a book he gave me. I had to type out the episode titles of Star Trek and the director and the information. And life was a lot simpler then when that made you happy. You know, somebody would do an episode review. And I remember, like, to show you how one of my most embarrassing moments, if anybody's ever seen The Trouble with Tribbles from Star Trek, one guy, you know, he wrote in pen on paper, he wrote his review, and I was supposed to type it out for the magazine. So I'm typing the review. At the very end, he made a deliberate quote from the movie that I thought was an error, and I corrected it. Quote. And at the end, the tribbles all go back to whatever, where there'll be no tribble at all anymore, or something like that. And that's like so I thought he meant trouble when he said tribble.
Mhm.
Yeah, tribbles on the mind. So there will be no trouble at all. I corrected it. And and the guy got mad. He said, "What'd you correct?" That's what they say. There's a line at the end of the episode. I don't know if it's Scotty. Somebody says there'll be no tribble at all or something.
Yeah, it was Scotty, I'm pretty sure.
And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't realize that was supposed to be a joke, you know. So I never saw it. Now, the reptile, the Hammer film, it's a good looking monster. And I've never seen it in its entirety because anytime I tried, it was kind of boring to me. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, don't you just see the reptile the last 5 minutes? It's one of those movies where you don't see the monster till the very last moment. But it's a good looking monster. Yeah, well, there's so many. Here I go again. So many movies to catch up with. The things I've.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just watch them. That's it. Get watching them.
Exactly. Well, I downloaded a movie off of YouTube the other day. I haven't watched yet because it's very controversial, especially in these times. I couldn't believe it was on YouTube, but there it was, and I'm like, I'm getting this before it's gone. I found on YouTube The Song of the South.
Really?
Really. Now, the description, and they probably did this on purpose, the description says it's a review of The Song of the South, but it's not. It's the movie.
Wow.
In its entirety. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen it. I've always wanted to see it. So I put it on DVD. I haven't watched it yet. So I have Song of the South now.
I'm having a sudden sneezing fit.
everybody in the comments was defending this movie, and it's like there's no reason, and I agree, there's no reason this movie shouldn't be out.
Yeah, well,
I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but I mean, from what I know about it, it's only considered, verboten because the main character is a slave and he's happy.
Yeah.
Would it be better to be miserable?
I don't really want to get to. I'm affected too. I'm affected too by these rules and things. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to say too much. I don't know if there's an algorithm.
So what, you want to see him miserable and that'll make you happy? I don't.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
I don't quite get it. It's the same thing with that Jerry Lewis movie that will probably never see the light of day. The Clown Who Laughed, or whatever it's called.
The Clown Who Cried.
The Clown Who Cried, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
I understand it's awful, but the kids are the end of it is he has to lead the kids into the gas chamber, and he does it. So that's why he's such an awful person. But is it better they get led into the gas chamber by a clown in their last moments are happy, or that guards shove them in with their bayonets? And then, I mean, they're going to get gassed either way. At least they go out happy, I mean, so I defend it,
Well, anyway, Frasier, I still have not seen it. That's my girlfriend's thing, Frasier, and we still want to see the new show, but I've heard they're not doing a season 3. That's what I heard. Telemarketer. I'm gonna do a rant video while I'm here. Telemarketer. This telemarketer.
Great.
Of course, it's dinner hour.
I've only seen the first episode of the new Frasier, and I was not impressed. It was on YouTube for about a week. And no, it wasn't a bootleg. Whoever's doing it put it up, but they only kept it there for like a week. But I was not impressed at all.
Have either of you been to any revival screenings relatively recently showing the film on actual 35 millimeter film or whatnot? Well, whenever I do go, I go quite often because I happen to be close enough to a theater that plays things like that. But the thing is, I've been skipping a lot of movies. They played Earthquake, which, it's not a great movie, but I was going to maybe go just to say I saw it in a movie theater. I never saw it in a theater, but I skipped it. They had, oh boy, Cool Hand Luke, which I like, but I skipped that on that as well. Now, the latest one I hear is Terminator 2. They're going to do in January, which, I mean, I really like the movie. I think it's a great sequel. I do like the movie a lot. It's funny, again, like a lot of things. When I saw it in the movie theater, I was like the naysayer. I was like, yeah, it's too much. It's too. Right. And that a lot of people like me feel that's where the CGI went insane with that movie.
I laughed in the middle of it. People were looking at me. I just thought it was so atrociously bad. I started laughing.
Really?
Yeah.
The only thing I can't stand, I don't like the kid. Sorry, Edward Furlow or his name. I don't love the kid actor. He's really annoying to me. But I think 1 and 2 are great. Make up for a great pair.
I thought whoever wrote it was a moron. That's why I started laughing.
No.
And then I explained to the people I was with when the movie was over why I laughed, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't even notice that," and they were laughing too. There's one part in the middle of the movie where they're trying to do a metaphor, and they're driving down a road trying to get away somewhere, looking for a hotel or something. I can't remember what's going on, but there's a narration going on in the middle of it. I think it was her, but I can't remember. But she says, and we were all scared, and it was like driving down a long, dark, lonely highway at night. And they were driving down a long, dark, lonely highway at night. So it wasn't like it at all. And I'm like, they don't even know what a freaking simile is. And I just started a metaphor, and it just cracked me up. I'm like, this is so bad.
Well, as far as Terminator 1 being the best, to me, I don't know. I think they're both good, 1 and 2. The rest you could, I mean, I can find things. 3 wasn't bad either, but it's like enough already, or by 3, I think. 1 and 2 makes a good, what's the word I want to look? Usually you say good trilogy. In this case, there's 2 of them. Makes a good, to me, and that's my opinion. I mean, I like them, but there's different endings. The ending they went with was kind of an open ending, like what's the future going to be, kind of. And I like the one where they saved the future, and you see them when Sarah Connor's an old lady, and there never came to be, what they said was going to be the alternate ending. I like the alternate ending because it closes it, because it leaves the 2 of them and no more. But anyway, I might go to see that. My girlfriend never saw it, believe it or not. I mean, even though she doesn't love like horror and science fiction movies, there's some that she likes, and we might see that.
But I think his question was, so they're actually showing film.
Oh, but no, it's good. But no, every time I go, I don't know. I think they go with a disc or something.
Yeah, probably not. But that was his question. Are they actually showing film?
Because I don't know if there's film anymore.
About all of this stuff, right? We're so worried about preserving everything we can preserve, right? Why, if you're not going to show it, why are you saving all of these film? I mean, I'm not saying to destroy them. I'm a definite preservation. But if you're never going to show them, why are you saving them?
Well, I believe in, as we're talking about, prints or negatives.
Prints, negatives, whatever. I mean,
negatives. That's where you're going to make. It makes sense to save negatives.
Yeah,
that's where you're going to make discs from and things, or whatever it is.
They're saving all these prints, and if they're not showing them in a theater, I've been to the movies. Last time I went to a movie, they were still showing film, so that shows you how long that's been.
I mean, I really, because now I don't know what they do exactly, but it is digital now. Even if you're going to see a film, like say The Sting, which I went to see, like I don't think they don't show a 35 millimeter.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, I've been to some really cheap places where they actually put the Blu-ray on, and you see the menu and everything, and they started. But the theater I'm talking about, I should really know the answer to this, is more of it's a classic kind of independent theater for film purists. I mean, I don't know what they use, but I think today that it's always on digital now, right? I don't know what they do.
Yeah, I think it's probably literally emailed to them. A file is probably
it's something like that. Because when you go to see like some of the big sponsored ones, like Fathom Events, where they have like Singing in the Rain or Wizard of Oz, they definitely have a signal or something, like whatever you want to call it. It's not that they get the film projector, and that's just as well. You want the truth, because most of the prints, if you see an actual print, and I saw some theater in the 2000s was showing the 5 Planet of the Apes movies, and they had the original 35 millimeter prints. They didn't realize some of them were choppy, a lot of scratches, and they were missing a couple of moments.
This is why they restore them. But then once they restore them, I think you get to see the print again. I got to see Vertigo. I know you don't love Vertigo, but I got to see Vertigo on a huge curved screen in 70 millimeter. And I don't care 4K. I don't care what you're going to throw at it. It's not going to look as good as this print did. Nothing is going to look as good as this print did. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, this is a good point too. Some movie negatives don't exist at all, and there's a print, kind of like with music, the way "Love Me Do" with Ringo on drums is taken off a record.
Yeah. No, I certainly know that. I kind of study.
So you really do need to have. I mean, it's a good idea to try to save prints and things too.
But I just don't. It is, but for the same reason that there's still records and stuff, it may come back. But I wish it would. I'm not into digital because any digital can get corrupt.
Sure.
Excuse
me. Yes, Tom couldn't make it. Right. Well, I did ask him, but he had to work tonight. He's been busy lately, and I said, well, basically the way I look at it is, excuse me, I'm going to try to do this as close to every week as I can. The holidays are coming up,
Yeah.
but the thing is, even if I have to do it myself, I'll come on sometimes by myself. If Tim can't make it, or Tom can't make it, or and other people, can come up as well. Like I don't know. You don't have to be a Cisco or Ebert here or whatever, a film expert. You just gotta like movies and TV. Like Doc Dacus could come up, if he wants, and stuff. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I saw Rear Window once. I liked it better than Vertigo. But the thing is, again, I'm really not gonna judge Vertigo yet because I saw it on a VHS tape that was full screen. It wasn't the best presentation.
I didn't like Vertigo until I saw it on a huge screen in 70 millimeter. Then I fell in love with it. I was like,
Yeah, so I'll give you my update one day, and I will give you my update, and because everybody's must have those great films that for whatever reason don't work for you.
because when they restored that, I don't remember when it was, sometime in the late 90s, I think. It had the restoration had its world premiere at the Uptown in Washington, D.C., and I was living in Washington, D.C. Now, I didn't get to go see the premiere, but I got to see, they showed it for like a week after its premiere at the Uptown. And that's where, they had, all the stars, and they had major people went and saw this thing at the premiere. And I saw it a couple days later, and it was
Yeah, the birds here. Yeah, I saw the birds in the movie. At one of these Fathom event showings. That might be my favorite Hitchcock movie, but that's because I like horror movies, and that's kind of horror or less Nature Gone Berserk.
I think Rear Window is mine.
I think it's a good movie, The Birds, but I could nitpick that. I think and again, I always choose my words because I love background, character development. That's what makes you get involved with the people. But there are cases where like there's a lot of this leading up to anything going on that's a little too much. But that's just my quibble with it. Once things start really happening, I think it's strong. Psycho, I like Psycho. The only problem with Psycho for me is that I caught it so late. I still think it's a great movie of that genre, but
it's a good movie. The psychology is a bit flawed, more than a bit flawed. But other than that, it's a really good.
But I mean, I still, again, I've seen so many movies that were copied Psycho that Psycho was an original for me when I saw it. And that reminds me also, when I said I was watching reaction videos, which I like doing, there's a whole bunch of reaction videos to Westworld, the movie, 73 movie. Now, again, talk about the Terminator. Every time I watched people watching the Westworld film for the first time, they were like, "Oh man, he's like the Terminator. This is like Arnold Schwarzenegger's original Terminator." And almost all of them said that at some point during the movie, and that's what I liked about it. And it's hard to put yourself in a place when you remember. Like I saw it at like 11 years old. I was impressionable, and other people said too, which I didn't think. There was no Michael Myers. There was no Halloween stalker figure. There wasn't any of that. Just a gunslinger robot that couldn't be stopped. And if you've seen all that stuff already, and including the Westworld TV show, which I saw one episode of that thing, I was horrified. It was so convoluted and messed up and hard to understand. And that's supposed to be the idea of the series, the Westworld HBO series, that I was disgusted. And there were some people that now, like this is always my fear when they remake something, that people go back to the original Westworld and they say, it's not as good as the new TV show. It's kind of basic. It's kind of like not, frills. Well, it was great for its time, but I like Rain Man. It's finally a Tom Cruise movie I can watch. I don't like Tom Cruise that much, but I do like Rain Man, and actually the fact that in the movie Tom Cruise's character is he's a bit of an SOB.
I think he's just playing himself, but
yeah, he's playing himself. So I guess you could say so. It works for me. It worked. I saw Rain Man when it was new, and I Dustin Hoffman. I love it.
I felt sorry for Dustin Hoffman having him as his brother. That was my take on the movie.
But the beautiful thing by the end, it works out. But getting there is rough. Yeah, and then you talk about the bird effects. Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, yeah. That's a movie they could. I hate to say it, they could make with CGI and maybe make it more convincing. But it doesn't, it's not always the best. It doesn't mean it's going to be. It has to be other thing. Got to be good acting, good writing, good character development. And good. And talk about Hitchcock for God's sake.
Yeah,
good directing.
It's never been one of my favorites. It does have Suzanne Pleshette in it, so I'll give it that.
And even her death scene is great because her death scene, like you don't really see anything happen to her. She's just on the ground. I don't want to go into it. And then the girl, who's Veronica Cartwright, when she was a little girl, pretty young, she describes what happened, and it's so terrifying to hear her describe what happened to kill Suzanne Pleshette. The Trouble with Harry I've never seen. How about you?
I love Trouble with Harry might be my second or third favorite Hitchcock film. It's not a typical Hitchcock film. It's a comedy, but it's a quirky comedy. And I love it. There's only like 5 or 6 people in the whole film. No, I'm not gonna remember her name. I'm trying to think who stars in it. The redheaded lady who claimed to see aliens later in life. What's her name?
Say again. Say again.
Somebody in the chat will know. But she's never been more. And she was in The Apartment.
Shirley MacLaine.
2 movies. If you watch those 2 movies and you don't fall in love with her, there's something wrong with you. She's just amazing.
I saw Frenzy in the theater also. I like Frenzy. I don't think it's as good as Psycho.
No, I didn't love Frenzy or The Family Plot. I thought he was losing it to her. I didn't love Marnie either.
Psychos are flawed, Tim.
Well, yeah, but they understand. They describe the psychology of why he did it so simply at the end. It's just like, come on.
Oh, the way he explains everything.
Yeah, come on. That's where the movie is really flawed. Is the psychology?
You gotta explain it to audience. But then again,
as it were, in Hitchcock's terms.
In 1960 I could forgive it, but I don't know. I wasn't.
No, 1960 I can forgive it, but now.
But it's so obvious who's doing it. That's the thing that today. I mean, that's what I mean. I sometimes watch movies and I say, "Wow, audiences really were that." I don't want to say naive, it's because that's not the right word. Really, they just hadn't been trained yet to look for twists and things. I mean, you really didn't know that Norman's is the killer and imitating his mother. I mean, I don't know. It's like I can't believe it. But and same thing with Planet of the Apes. It's impossible. I mean, that was such a shock. I didn't see Planet of the Apes when it was new. I saw it after everybody already knew it was Earth on TV. But the thing is, I mean, I can't. Everybody was shocked and couldn't believe it was Earth. And I'm like, wow. Well, I don't know. I get into a lot of Planet of the Apes stuff.
The really big scare in Psycho is when they turn the chair around and you see the mother's skeleton in the wig. And to me, that by that point in my life, that wasn't scary anymore. I'm sure it was in 1960 when you saw it, but I wasn't scared by that.
Yeah, right. Like little things like that, Rain Man's one of my all-time favorites. Rain Man is Tom's best film movie by far. Yeah, I don't love Tom Cruise, but I liked him in that.
Thank
because he's
you.
playing himself.
Thank you, Mick64. Shirley MacLaine is who I was thinking of. It's just
I said it before, but sometimes Tim doesn't hear me.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't hear you. She's just drop dead gorgeous, and
I just mumbled it. I also like War of the Worlds, the 2005 version, which is a surprise. So that in a movie theater but at least Spielberg directed it. Maybe that's partly why.
I didn't think it was the worst thing I'd ever seen, but I can't really say I liked it. But I didn't think it was terrible. It was better than some.
Spaceballs 2 at 98. Man, I can't imagine that being any good. I mean, the first one was okay, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I keep hearing that they're doing a Spinal Tap 2. I'm not for it. So, and if they're using those same guys, aren't they getting a little old?
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, Spinal Tap 2. Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, I have the answer to this. I saw the Kill Bill Volume 2 9 times in the theater.
Huh.
And it's not as bad as it sounds. When you think I went with different people, and a lot of the times I went by myself. I always use that as an example. I like we talked about this many times, right? I know you like Kill Bill 1 better. I saw Kill Bill 1, then I saw Kill Bill 2 when it came out, and I expected it to be more like 1, and I didn't really love it the first time. And then I absolutely, when I saw it so many times under different circumstances and having to kill time a lot. So I kept going with, like I said, with audiences who didn't know what was going to happen. And I much prefer, I love both. I love the whole thing. To me, it's just one big movie.
Well, it is. And there's a cut. There's a really good cut. I have it on digital file of the two movies cut together the way it would have been. And it's a European version. So there's a couple of bonus things that we didn't get to see in America. That's it's really good. But I'm a Hong Kong film guy, and Kill Bill 1 is basically a Hong Kong film. Kill Bill 2 is basically a Western. And I like Westerns, but I like Hong Kong films better. So I like Kill Bill
1. His last good movie. Well, I'm trying to remember exactly because I think for me it's Spaceballs. That's 87. But I don't really know if I'm missing any that I liked. Well, there's Dracula, Dead and Loving It in 92, but I don't think that was that great.
I'm not a huge Mel Brooks fan. I know, oh my God. Mine's probably Young Frankenstein. I don't know that I loved anything he did after Young Frankenstein.
Sure.
Sorry, but, and I wanted to say that I think the movie, I didn't go to movies tons of times, but I think the one I may have seen the most in a theater, believe it or not, it's Punch Drunk Love. I saw that 3 times, and for me, that's a lot.
I don't mind. Yeah, 3. Well, 3 is a lot for anyone. I tell you, I remember these numbers. I saw Night Shift in the movie theater 7 times in 1982. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. It's certainly one of my favorite 80s films. And I saw, ready for this? This one's not too proud of. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan 8 times. But Kill Bill 2 was 9. And, there's reasons for that, why I wound up being in the theater. I'm not really going to talk too much about. I kept going to the theater a lot back then during the day. We talked about, both of us talked about Columbo early on in the episode, Ali. We talked a little about it. So I would suggest you go back and if you want to know, watch the early part of the show back. Yeah,
I'm watching the later ones.
Kill Bill 3 won't meet anyone's expectation. You realize, I think Kill Bill, well, the whole thing was, I think it was done in 2003.
Yeah.
2 or 3. That's
if he's doing that, because he wants to quit, and if he's doing that in his last movie, I think he might be doing it too late. But
But I remember seeing it. It kills me. Like to think that 2000 is 25 years ago.
I know, I
It's
know.
insane.
It's amazing. But no, he should have done a sequel to Kill Bill, but he should have done it 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, how's Uma Thurman holding up?
That's what I don't know, and yeah, I mean, because Kill Bill, he's even said what Kill Bill would be and exactly what I said it should be. He
About
left
the
one thing resolved. He left the little girl whose mother she killed in the kitchen, said, I know you're sore at me right now, but if you can't work it out later, you come looking for me or whatever, and I'll be around or whatever. That's Kill Bill 3 right there. Uma Thurman versus her, but now Uma Thurman's like in her 60s or something, so I don't know.
You'd have to call it like Kill B or something, really, because there's no more Bill, so it should be Kill B, B-E-A, Beatrice. That's the name of the bride.
Yeah.
Kill B. When a little girl wants to kill her, there you go, Quentin. There's a good idea. Been meaning to see The Killer and Hard Boiled for ages.
Oh, the two of my. The Killer might be my favorite movie, and Hard Boiled's probably in top 10. I love those movies to death.
Yeah, I know that I had an opportunity to see Blazing Saddles at the movie theater, and I didn't. That might be my vote for the best Mel Brooks movie.
See, I've never even seen it, believe it or not. I don't.
Well, it depends if you like them at all. If you like Young Frankenstein enough, it's worth seeing. Let's put it that way.
I did, but mainly because of it's Frankenstein.
No, this is.
I like his early movies. I like The Producers, and I like The 12 Chairs, and I like his smaller, earlier movies.
How about we put we do, if this ever comes up that we can do this, where that's my one request of mine. Like if in your travels, if you ever get a chance to see it, like for $1 or something, it's on.
Well, no, I would pick it up. I don't own it. I'd pick it up for $1 and watch it. I certainly.
It's worth. I think it's worth seeing. I think you get some laughs out of it.
Well, no, I would certainly see it for If I see it used, I'll pick it up, but I never have.
You guys are recalling being 35, yeah. And then back to Uma Thurman, she's 54. Now, I know that's going to sound really old. It's not anymore when you get older, but you're getting there when it comes to, like, if she kept decent care of herself, she could pull that off, I think.
Yeah, but he better do it soon if he's going to do it. But
yeah.
That's because that's all I could see for Kill Bill 3. Almost everybody else winds up dead. Not everybody does, but most of them.
You know what cracks me up? I mean, the Three Stooges. I like the Three Stooges when they're older. Like I like it when it's 60. That crap. I rather see a 60-year-old guy smacking each other around. And I keep thinking. Sometimes I watch and I see like on the Three Stooges with some of the things they did. All kinds of stunts and getting smacked around and flipping around and falling violence. And they were like in their 50s then at some of those later ones with Shemp, the Shemp episodes and Joe Besser and all that. They were like 60.
Well, Keaton was still doing that stuff in his 60s.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan was still doing his own stunts well into his 60s. I hope he's not still doing them now, but I don't know.
Well, this is a good point. I mean, they could make this funny, old guys that old. That would
they definitely could. I wonder if they could they would need to get the guy that played the keyboard player back. They would need him, and then whoever they had as a drummer would be funny because they've probably gone through 75 drummers by now.
Yeah. Jim Carrey more recently showed interest in doing a sequel to The Mask. I liked The Mask. I gotta say that's the one Jim Carrey film that I can deal with. And I gotta be real. I do think it's kind of too late at this point. I don't know. I
I
don't know enough about the clown.
I only like Jim Carrey when he's actually trying to be a bit serious and not so idiot. I liked the Truman Show. I liked him in the Truman Show.
Mm-hmm. Uma Thurman, she's 54, can play 44.
Okay, well, he could do it, but what I'm worried about is if he did it, if he would try to figure out everybody that survived that movie and fit them all in there somehow. Because that's what Hollywood wants now. You know what I mean? They want to give you your little treats or whatever you want to call it, your little Easter egg. So there's, because like I forget her name, that Uma Thurman gets out of the trunk and rolls down the hill to the hospital.
Yeah, Sophie. I don't know how to.
Yeah, she survived supposedly.
Daryl Hannah also.
Yeah, Daryl Hannah survived. I don't remember who else survived, but and I don't think they should do that. It should just be the two of them. But
yeah, these days with the way people, people want more, more superheroes, more.
Yeah, exactly. That's my worry. That the studios would go, okay, now where's Daryl Hannah? Where
That's why they call it Kill B, and have them all after whoever they are. The ones that are left, and as far as this goes about de-aging her, there's no real need to, is there? I mean, she's supposed to be older in it. She would be.
Yeah, no, she would have to be. I mean, you'd want it to be 20 years later, probably, with the little girl like approaching 30 or something.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit later than that. Because the little girl wouldn't turn 18 and go after her. You know what I mean? She would fume a while longer and then decide, okay, it's time.
Jim Carrey would play a great Doc Dacus. There you go.
Hey, you say so.
Hey, we didn't talk about Rocky.
No. Good.
Yeah, this was a pretty good show.
Yeah, it did all right.
We got a lot of things covered. I like the Majestic for Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one too. He was all right in that. And what's the one he did? Is it Liar? That was okay. He wasn't quite so over the top. But yeah, I don't like these over the top.
The reason I can tolerate it with The Mask is that he's supposed to be this outrageous, exaggerated, cartoony character. I think that was if I remember it right, that was the point of it. There's a mask. Is it you put something on and it like exaggerates your most prominent characteristic or something? And for him, it was like that kind of comedian thing, if I remember it correctly. I don't know.
I never saw it. So.
Hey, I heard more about Popeye the Slayer, man. I know the trailer looks terrible, no surprise. And in the trailer, they actually say, like, they're trying to take it seriously, and they say there's been reports of contaminated spinach. So I guess he eats contaminated spinach and becomes a murderer.
Great.
Oh, God.
But it'll make money. And I still say the majors should be looking at these films that they're making for, under $1 million and go, we can learn a thing or two from these people because they're making a killing at the box office where the majors are losing their shirts.
I don't know Detox with Stallone.
No.
Out of these movies, I've seen them all but Cliffhanger. I saw Demolition Man. Don't remember much about it. Was that the one Wesley Snipes? I think. Daylight was a modern day disaster movie, I thought. And Copland I thought was good. Copland should, I think, from what I recall, I'd put in my top tier Stallone movies, if like such a thing existed. Never seen Nighthawks, which
Oh,
I would
I've
like.
seen Nighthawks. Nighthawks I liked.
Yeah, I might try that one. I want to see Tulsa King. I keep saying that. That's his new Stallone stuff. Is Tim doing Christmas spins this year, Christmas Eve?
I don't think so because I can't get either of my laptops to get along with Facebook, which I need to get along with StreamYard. So if I can't do that, and I doubt I can, Joe had to give me a link right in the chat for this tonight because I couldn't get on Facebook with this either, and I usually can. So I'm gonna say no because I can't. Modern technology won't let me. So
I heard something about this. De Niro got fired from a second studio. Nobody wants to work with him anymore. I think that's 4 films canceled now. Well, I don't know the whole story about that. It would be sobering to me to see that there would actually be people that would say, I don't know. I mean, look, it's not so much like what his views might be. It's just to me that the way he's just all over the place shooting his mouth off, whatever, it doesn't matter what his views are. It's just shut the hell up already. He's doing it on every award show. He's doing it on every public forum.
This is one of the problems that they didn't have back in the old days when actors were under contract. You didn't do that if you're under contract. If you're under contract and you did that, your contract is broken. You're over. You're done. Now nobody's under contract and they can all do what they want, and it's not necessarily a good thing for their careers.
I don't think he's getting good things to pick from anymore. He's made a lot of bad decisions. Well, some of the choices he's had to do.
Well, he's an old. How many great roles are there for old guys these days? I mean, none, basically.
Well, I'm gonna stay on a few more 5 minutes or so, and then I'll just go to 90 minutes. It's only like 3 minutes. The last chance is to get it in, folks. And I appreciate this. I hope people will consider subscribing to this boring channel that I have here, where I don't do anything, because I'm still mulling it over. The new year's coming in, and I'm, as usual with my indecisiveness. Although you notice I've kept Mr. CineMayo a long time now.
Yeah,
it's the longest I've kept anything. But I'm toying with the idea again of going all out on Mr. Mayo for all movie stuff too. So I really don't know. There's reasons why like I said, the problem is there's reasons why I should. Most of the reasons why I think would be a good idea is I'd have more eyes on my videos. I get more views. I just would. And the algorithm would pick up and recommend more of it, maybe because it's tied in with the Mean Mr. Mayo flow. But the other negative side is that I love having things organized in the place, movies here, all this stuff here, all the Beatles and stuff there. I love that. So I don't really know what to do. And also, there's other problems too. But so anyway, I'm still mulling it over. This is better than the main channel. Well, there you go. So, Ali, are you not subscribed to the other channel? I don't know. I'm still wondering about that. Like I say, I expect to lose some subscribers if I do that, because there are some people that just say, "Hey, look, I'll sit through 4 or 5 Columbo videos until we get the next Beatles solo release or movie or something." But there are people that just say, "Oh, screw it, I'm out." Because I'm getting too many. I don't want to. I don't care about Columbo. I don't care about whatever it is. Hitchcock.
Well, just don't watch it. There's no reason to unsubscribe. Just don't watch the videos.
Yeah. I agree. I tend to agree with you there. Well, then again, I don't know because I was thinking. I keep mentioning that guy Pete Pardo who does Sea of Tranquility, and he just hit 100,000 subs, 100K, He's been doing it 10 years now. I don't ever expect to hit on any channel 100K. But the thing is, I'm only there because he does a show called The Monster's Den. I haven't watched The Monster's Den in ages anyway, where they do a thing like this and discusses horror movies. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I used to. But my point, I don't subscribe because I don't want to get constant. I don't want my feed to back up with heavy metal talks and certain kinds of music I'm not into. Just occasionally to get a Monster's Den.
I get that, but I'm saying I don't think you'd lose subscribers. I don't think people would unsubscribe. They might not subscribe, but they might not subscribe anyway.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I don't think you'd lose subscribers.
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, my opinion remains to be seen if I do it. But if I do, I'm just curious to see if I'm right. I think I would lose some, but when I say some, I mean 10. Like, I'm not talking about like hundreds of subscribers, but you don't know.
You lose more with YouTube going through and scrubbing out subscribers, which they do constantly. You lose more that way.
Yeah, and this thank you for the good episode. Thanks, Mike. Oh, yeah, the 16 millimeter Magical Mystery Tour film container over at my latest video. I mean, Mr. Mayo, Mikey Arugula strikes again. He's got he got the original film, the film reels of Magical Mystery Tour in the canister. Remember the Night, best Christmas film. He's not getting any serious roles, only light comedy parts with a lot smaller paycheck than Niro.
Well, that's what happened.
I put this up before. I'm sorry, I'm talking at the same time as you. Sorry. People who want to know your movie opinions will travel across, and if not, so what? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that would happen, but you just feel like, I don't make content for this channel or movie channel regularly. I just still don't do it. I can go 2 weeks without doing a video or longer, and 3 weeks. If I did one a day, and I could, because I have enough reviews. I have over 1,000 reviews just that I could just pick from without having to watch it. No, I could have watched a movie 20 years ago and just memorize it from my database. But I found out, and I learned from other people too. There's this girl, Sue. She a woman, Sue. She does channels, movies, and Sue. And she was doing this for a while, and she said I kept trying to did reviews, and people weren't watching when I was doing reviews. Then when I started talking about collecting physical media, showing physical media, talking about what's coming out new, that's what made her channel get big. So I noticed that nobody cares a damn about my reviews, on movies, especially the kinds of movies I'm reviewing. But I might keep going anyway. I still got to decide, I'm more interested in movie talk than the Beatles. See, that's interesting. That's the thing. Like Mix 64, right? You're subscribed over to my main channel, right? Now I'm stretching this into talking about this stuff. I'm sure Tim is thrilled. I'm just self-conscious. At 100K, YouTube will send you a silver play button plaque. Yeah, at 1 million gold. I mean, it sounds silly, but if that could ever be, I wouldn't mind having a little, to show that I kind of made it that far. But you just do the math. I mean, I got on my main channel, I got 15,000 subscribers, and I'm going to be doing it on my 13th year. So, I mean, do the math. I mean, if I keep that, I'm lucky to get 30,000 or 40,000, there is a hurry, Ali. I beg to differ. There's a big hurry, man. Like, I was starting to think, I'll give you an example. Like, somebody suggested to me, well, you know what you do? Don't oversaturate your main channel with movies. Just do one movie a week, a review one a week. And I thought to myself, well, the problem with that is There's only 52 weeks in a year. Do I only want to do around 50 movie reviews a year? No, that would be okay if I was 19, but I don't know. I mean, that's not a lot of 50 a month is more like it. Is more what I'd like to do, and it can be done. I'm not working. This is my job, Think about it. We get a little excited and getting pumped up about it.
Well,
Tim,
yeah.
you were toying with the idea of doing videos here and there again. Are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I was thinking about but I'm not going to. But I forget his channel name, but you know him. His name is Mike. He's an older guy that does movies.
He's great.
The last time we did one. You should watch his new video if you didn't, and I think you should take part in the cinema.
Yeah, I saw the thumbnail and I can't remember what. I know it was something I want to watch, and I forget what it was.
There's like 24 questions, and you'd be way better at answering them than I would. I think you should do that.
Yeah, he's Gray 1951.
Yeah, great. Yep.
Yeah. I thought of this too, but I mean, Christmas movies and all that, Yeah. Well, anyway, let me get going with this. Thanks everybody for being here. If anybody cares about such a thing, tomorrow morning on my other channel, Me and Mr. Mayo, I'm going to be doing a Mayo Lounge. And I know Danny's coming up. I don't know who else will be there. I'll put the call out. And Tim, you're not around at 7:30 a.m. Otherwise, you're invited to, if you want.
I'm not around. But
I'm
going to be on a show next Wednesday if anybody's interested.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Material Issues, which is a podcast I watch every Wednesday. It's on at 6:00.
Oh yeah, you've talked about that.
And they don't have any guests, so they decided I sort of put the bug in their ear that maybe they should invite people up, and I was like the first one they asked. So I'm going to be on there.
And what's the subject again on there?
They talk about, normally they interview musicians and stuff. Some pretty famous people. They've interviewed Dwight Twilley. They've interviewed, I'm trying to think who Mac Davis. They interviewed one day. Not Mac Davis, Jim Stafford.
I want to know more about spiders and snakes. I love that 45. I bought that 45 when
he was great. He was a great guest. But anyway, and when they don't have guests, there's a game they play that I play along in the thing. That's how they know me, kind of. And so yeah, I'm gonna get to meet those guys next Wednesday.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. All right.
That's it.
I like to hear that. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
And I hope you get your problems sorted out. What's going on with Facebook or whatnot. Yeah. And, just, you can always, if you have a problem, we can always just come up here as usual. I'll put a link up here,
Okay, yeah, we might have to do that because my devices aren't getting along, basically.
I'm going to try. I intend to do one next week. Next week would be, what's today's date? It'll be the 19th. I mean, I would intend on doing another one Thursday.
Okay.
All right. So I'll talk to you all soon, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Cheerio.